here May 1st. It's the 1st of May, Labor Day for a lot of people around the world. Not in the US, but most countries in here, Mexico, South America, Europe, a lot of Asian countries, they do Labor Day on the 1st. So happy Labor Day for those of you not in the US that celebrate it. But yeah, May 1st, I think we are 126 days till NFL kickoff. So NFL kickoff this year. Do we know the exact? We don't know the exact day, right?
No, we don't.
Or,
It'll
or,
be.
or do we know the day? Oh, I think it's the 5th this
My
year.
calendar. I bet you it'll be September 4th, probably that Thursday.
4th. Yeah, too long away. Victor says, yeah, definitely too long. Definitely too long. But yeah, we're here. We're just doing a little bit of a low key Q&A questions if you guys have them about rookies or anything. If we get enough people in here watching, maybe we'll run a quick rookie mock, but I think it's going to be a little bit quieter tonight, so I don't know if we're going to be able to fill it up. So we'll just do kind of a Q&A. Leave your questions in the chat. We're going to discuss rookies in relation to where they're being valued to the veterans, because now that they have landing spots, we're starting to see the movement of these players. Like you're finally seeing them. If you go to Keep Trade Cut, which again, not a perfect tool, but it gives you at least a baseline. You kind of see where these guys are settling in. Most rookies, now that they have spots, are moving up in the draft. You know, it's funny because like Cam Ward, for example, moved up 3 spots. It's like we all knew he was going 101, but I guess we were just waiting just in case he didn't. Which makes sense because look at Shedeur Sanders, right? So I guess anything can happen. Victor says, any reason to go Henderson and Judkins over Tet and Hunter, even if you need running backs? Any reason to go Henderson and Judkins over Tet? I would say, yeah.
I would try the philosophy of the best player available. So, and you know, even if you think you have, I have this problem too. If you got a lot of running backs, or you got good running backs, or something like that, and you need a wide receiver, then it's up, it's a decision time. But then you can trade somebody, and you can turn them into, first rounder next year, maybe a second rounder this year, or something like that. So,
yeah, I would, I would say all those guys are in the same tier to me. I have Genty in tier 1, Hampton, and this is a non-tight end premium, by the way. Hampton and Ward in tier 2, and then I have Travion, McMillan, Judkins, and Hunter in tier 3. So I'm basically saying, if you feel strongly about one of those players over another, I'm fine with it. So I would probably take Travion in the 4 spot over Tet McMillan. I'm still a little bit hesitant on Hunter myself. I'd probably take him closer to the 106, 107. But I've seen people say he should be the 102. We'll see. But I think I am Henderson over Tet and Hunter. And I don't mind Judkins over those guys either if you feel strongly. Tet McMillan's going to be an interesting one. I guess we'll talk about him as we get into it a little bit with looking at these rookies and kind of where they're placed, because there's a lot of things that can happen with Tet. I think he doesn't like being called Tet, by the way. So I think he prefers Tetaroa or T-Mac. So,
oh boy.
Yeah, I don't want him coming after me.
You should wear the number 0 then.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, we'll discuss these guys a little bit more in detail, but keep the questions coming for sure if you have them. Any specific questions, if you're on the clock in any of your rookie drafts, I know those are all happening. So, but we'll start with the quarterback position and just talk about Cam Ward. So, Cam Ward is currently ranked as the QB 13. He's the QB 13. Here's a couple of guys that he's directly behind, and I want you to tell me, Dad, who you would take over these guys.
All right,
so
I got to pay attention then. Sorry.
yeah. Bo Nix or Cam Ward?
No, Nix.
Nix. Yeah, I think that makes sense. By the way, it's kind of funny though. Cam Ward is almost 3 years younger than Bo Nix, 2.5 years, but still doesn't matter. Yeah, it's Bo Nix. It's definitely Bo Nix. Jordan Love or Cam Ward?
Love.
It's an interesting one though, right? Like, because like Jordan Love has had stretches, but how good is he gonna be? Like,
I'm not sure he's
don't-
going to be much better than what we've seen. You know, he takes the team to a playoffs and he wins a playoff game. You know, is he going to ascend to the next level? Is his team? I mean, if you look at the Packers, you could say, well, the team looks pretty complete. What are they missing? You know,
Yeah.
Are they missing? You know, the big bitches, wide receivers, and whatever. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's just, is he? So we've seen 2 full years of him. Is he the? Let's see here. Is he the 250 yards per game type of guy and like 2 touchdowns a game that he was last year in 2023? I shouldn't say last year. I should say in 2023. Or is he last year where he was 225 and a touchdown and a half per game? Like, that's, I guess, the question. I don't know. I think the fact, like, the Packers turned into a very run heavy team last year, a very run heavy team.
Yeah, they did.
And I think part of that had to do with, like, Jordan Love was kind of throwing a lot of interceptions. He had 11 interceptions in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in 8 games. And then he finished the season off by not throwing an interception, but he also didn't throw the ball more than 30 times in the game. Here's his yards. Here's his attempts to start the year. 34. He gets hurt, comes back, throws 54 times, 26, 32, 33. Right. So those 22, 39. Those 7 games, 8 games, whatever I said it was. He threw the ball that much. He threw 11 interceptions. Then his pass attempts during the stretch where he didn't throw interceptions. 23, 28, 20, 27, 28, 30, and then 12. I think he only played a third of a game. So I think there's a case for Cam Ward. I think there's more upside. I think it's safer to go with Love, but I think there's more upside. So what about Kyler Murray? So that's the 2 guys ahead of him. The 2 guys, a couple guys directly behind him. Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I would. Me personally, I think I'd be trying to give Cam Ward a shot over Kyler Murray.
Okay.
But we know we know what rookie quarterbacks give you. I mean, I know there's been a couple of certain circumstances, where guys have done marvelous things, and Jaden Daniels and Cam Ward ain't no Jaden Daniels. So, but is he going to have more than 22 touchdowns and 15 interceptions? I don't know. And 3,800 yards.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Kyler Murray. Yeah, that might be a cutoff point for me.
He's a tough one, Kyler. He was still QB 14 in points per game, and we would say last year was a bad year for Kyler. We know what he's capable of, but it's also getting to the point where it's like, man, what are we?
Okay, dude.
5 years into his career. Yeah,
right.
We're 6
You've been
years
paid
into his career.
Yeah, sorry, you've been paid. I don't know if I don't know how complete the team is. It doesn't look terrible on paper, stuff like that. Yeah. But I don't follow them as closely as some other teams. But I
mean, their best season under Kyler is 9-5. Like his best win-loss record in a season is 9-5, because he's missed time during there. So, but yeah, Kevin says rookie fever. By the way, guys, if you have any questions, leave them in the chat, comments, questions. We're just kind of doing a little Q&A slash going over these rookies and seeing where they are in relation to these veterans now that we have a land spot. And Kevin, I guess he's referring to the rookie fever because he says he got Dak today on a contender for the 204 and 213. I think that's a steal to get Dak.
That's a friggin' thievery, man. That's great.
That's insane.
I wish I'd get offered stuff like that.
I know, right? That's insane, man. Go look at Dak's numbers basically every year of his career, except for last year, like his points per game. I know he got injured a couple of times, but he's consistently a top 5, 7, 10 quarterback every single year. Every single year. So I am a little bit worried though, like if CD Lamb goes down, that team, they did nothing. They added no one in the draft.
Yeah,
I was a little shocked by that.
Yeah, I agree.
Like
there's still a couple of older free agent wide receivers out there. I don't see them. I see the the wide receivers are getting signed. The running backs are not getting signed, I think. But
yeah,
there's like Nick Chubb but anyway, so yeah, the Cowboys kind of sitting on their hands a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that's a steal either way, Kevin. And he
no
says you can
trust Kyler. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't trust it. No. It's old news, and now he's pushing. He'll be 28 pretty early on in the
You've
season.
Seen the best of him. I mean,
yeah.
What do they call that? The ceiling. He's reached his ceiling.
Yeah, he'll be 28 at the beginning of before the beginning of the season. So it's like he's talking about running less potentially or running more. I don't know. That's the big thing, though. Like he's never fallen below 30 yards rushing per game in a season. Last year was 33.6. So we probably know that's always going to continue. But man, he has the weapons there. He definitely has the weapons there. So you said that's the cutoff. I think there's some other guys that you might take over Cam Ward. But like Trevor Lawrence, Brock Purdy, which way would you go there? Would you just go to Cam Ward?
Trevor Lawrence. Yeah. I don't know. We're waiting for him,
Yeah.
Brock Purdy. Yeah, I'd be a little more secure with Brock, I think, the team didn't have a very good year, and he had an okay year last year, wasn't it?
Wasn't great. He averaged 250 yards a game, only threw 20 touchdowns in 15 games.
Oh, that's nice.
12. I thought it was 12 interceptions. More. He did run a little bit more. He averaged 21 yards rushing per game, which is pretty good. Yeah, I think I'm taking Cam over basic. Here's why I'm taking Cam over these guys. It's not because I think he's for sure going to outproduce Lawrence or Purdy over the next 2-3 seasons. But I think there's a very good chance, like Cam Ward has the chance to kind of skyrocket in value if he comes out and has like a CJ Stroud season, a Justin Herbert rookie year. And he's going to be easily in the top 10, top 8 quarterbacks, and then his value is going to skyrocket. Looking at a guy like, Jared Goff's the perfect example. Jared Goff just came off a QB7 season. He's ranked as the QB 21 in Dynasty. Why? It's stupid, but it's because he's 30 years old. That's it.
And he doesn't run, but he's still.
Well, he was still QB7 though.
Yeah, no, he's gonna be well over 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns. It's gonna happen unless somebody falls on his leg and breaks it or something like that. So
every offseason, people are gonna be like, oh yeah, but he's 30. It's dumb. He's obviously a buy low, just like Dak is.
What's really dumb, speaking of age, is when they draft these guys and they go, oh, he's old. Who gives a crap?
Yeah.
Who cares if Tyler Shuck is 26 years old? Well, honestly.
When coaches lose their job in 2 years because they can't produce, who gives a shit? Like,
that's
just come in and
ridiculous. People are.
Yeah.
It's really ridiculous. Listening to sports talk radio sometimes. Oh, he's old. Really?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know? Are you worried? Speaking of old, does anybody say, my God, Saquon Barkley had 400 friggin' touches last year? Is anybody worried about
I am a little
that?
bit worried about that.
Yeah, I mean,
I am a
it's
little
legit.
bit, but
It's a legit worry. It's
yeah.
total legit worry. You know?
Yeah, yeah, I think it was like 450 touches or something crazy.
Yeah.
I think it
He
was
won.
close to 500.
He won the Super Bowl, though. He doesn't give a crap. He's got some
Oh
money in
yeah,
the bank. I mean,
yeah,
seriously, I mean, yeah, you
yeah. He
probably
had
want to win and all the other stuff, but yeah,
he had he had 378 touches in the regular season. Add on another 91 carries and 13. So basically, add on another 100 touches in the playoffs. So yeah, that's a lot. I want to actually look up what's like the most touches in a season, but I'll kind of do that on the back end here.
like
Um,
Ladainian Tomlinson had
yeah.
ridiculous, stupid ass numbers. As far as there was a year with the Chargers where there was nobody else there, and he was Ladainian left, Ladainian right, Ladainian over the middle. It was like,
Oh yeah, he had 100 catch year.
yeah,
Um, okay, so Kevin says he feels like Trevor is a buy. If Hunter just plays a little wide receiver, him and BTJ could bring out the best. Yeah, I think Lawrence is a buy. And honestly, it's not going to take much. If Lawrence has a good year, a top 7, he has, let's say a Jared Goff like year, he's gonna shoot up in value because it's gonna be finally this is the Trevor, type of thing. So, um, but so I think Cam Ward's kind of appropriately in there. I'd think about taking him over Jordan Love. Kyler Murray's an interesting one because I'm always a sucker for the rushing guys. I don't know what kind of rushing production Cam Ward's going to have. I think he can move and get something, but I
200
agree
yards.
with you. It's kind of right where that line is the Kyler, Lawrence, Purdy, McCarthy, Mayfield, Penix, Goff, all this huge tier of guys. So um, really, there's not much else. The next rookie is Jackson Dart, and he's ranked ahead of guys like Tua, Darnold, and Fields. Do you agree with that?
No, not at all. Not even close.
All three of them?
Yeah, I mean, just for this year, yeah.
Well, not just no for Dynasty.
Yeah, I get it, but I can't think about, I have a problem just thinking past this season. I understand Dynasty. I'll worry about next year. And I understand people, I can't give away a year, so I'm going to try and compete. If I can get Jackson Dart and hold on to him and not worry about him playing, then I'm happy, but if it doesn't work out that way, but above Tua, no. If Tua, yeah, if he stays healthy, I guess,
Yeah,
that's the problem.
I think people would be shocked. I know I talked about this before, but Tua was the QB 13 in points per game last year.
Wow. And he only
Um,
played like what, 2/3 of a year?
yeah, he missed 6 games, so yeah, 2/3. Uh, that is removing, by the way, Jimmy Garoppolo and Joe Milton from the equation because they only played 1 game. They're technically above him, which does push Tua at a QB 15. But if you remove those two guys who only played 1 game and their average is going to be higher, so yeah, he was QB 13. I don't think a lot of people realize that, to be honest. So
That's pretty special. The
yeah,
Dolphins seem like they're like they're circling the toilet a little bit and they're
it does
waiting.
feel like that, right?
Yeah, with Ramsey and Tyreek Hill, it's too bad they couldn't move on from those guys, they I don't know.
Yeah, they still might be able to.
Holy
Like,
crap,
imagine
this
like
to come back. Sorry.
ima- imagine like man, if you're like Buffalo or something, go out and get freaking Tyreek Hill. Screw it. Like, just do it. You know, add Tyreek Hill to that team or something. So I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah,
By
I
the way,
agree.
there's only been, so Saquon, we said, had 378 touches plus another 100 or so. Now, these are the players with 450 touches or more in a season, but that's only regular season. So they could have had, there could be more, but there's only been 5. Can you name how many of the 5 you think you can name? I'll give you a hint. The 3 of them are since the year 4 of them are since the year 2000.
That I've had. What was the number again?
450 total touches in a year.
LaDainian.
Season. LaDainian's on there with 451.
Maybe there was a guy from Kansas City.
There was your boy.
It's either Priest Holmes or Larry Johnson.
It's Larry Johnson, second most, 457.
Then Chris John.
2 more from the year 2000.
Chris John. Oh, from the year 2000.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Eddie George was 453.
Eddie George, okay.
And Edgerrin James had 450 in 2000.
Wow.
The number 1 Tampa Bay running back in the 80s. I don't know if that. I don't really know this guy.
James Wilder.
Yeah, he had 492 touches in a regular season,
and he only had like 1,200 yards rushing. I bet.
He had that year. He had 1,544. Okay. He had 2,200 total yards that year.
Yeah.
Holy crap! He had 400 carries and 85 catches.
Wow, James Wilder. I remember that guy.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah, so Jackson Dart, I kind of agree with you. I mean, I get why Jackson Dart's ranked there, but I'd be surprised if he was. Him versus Fields is interesting because obviously Fields is going to be better than him this year, but Fields is kind of year to year at this point, right? So I don't mind you saying I'd rather have Jackson Dart than Fields, just because you have a little bit of potential there for multiple years, whereas
I think Fields
you might not have that with Fields.
If the Jets have an 8 or 9 win season, then Justin Fields is okay. I think he'll get a second chance. I think teams though they'll move on from quarterbacks pretty quickly. So, I mean,
yeah,
and Fields could end up somewhere else.
I mean, if the Jets are winning next year, how are they going to replace their quarterback? How are they going to get a quarterback? If they're competitive, right, fringe playoff team or sneak into the playoffs.
That's the Steelers' problem.
Yeah, every year.
Every damn year. That's the Steelers.
And that's why they have Mason Rudolph and Skylar Thompson. So
you have to almost tank. That's a terrible word. NFL guys, they don't do it. NBA, they do it all day long.
Yeah.
Man,
I can't believe this James Wilder.
Speaking of NBA, is flopping. Flopping is horrible.
I haven't watched an NBA game in years.
I mean, I just guys that are you touch them and they flail, and I'm sure glad the NFL. I'm sure thankful for the NFL, man. They don't usually do that unless there's some kind of pushing and shoving, afterwards or something. But I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't want to pollute. I don't want to pollute our podcast with NBA talk.
So into the running backs, Ashton Genty is the RB3, and I think that's fair. He's behind Bijan and Gibbs. He's ahead of Barkley. It's just the age thing, right? Obviously, Barkley, very good chance Barkley's better than Genty next year, but Barkley, you're kind of at that point, Philly's going to wear him down, basically, and I don't think there's really an argument to Genty argue. To me, he's RB3. He's in that tier. You agree, disagree? You think he should be ahead of Barkley, Achane, Bucky?
Yeah, I don't know about Achane. I mean, Derrick Henry's screwed me every year that he's existed. The guy, I just nah, that's not going to last. This guy, You can't have that many carries. You can't get hit that many times. And next year, and then I don't know. Is this the year that we see a decline of Derrick Henry? I don't. It's
Yeah, but you don't think Henry should be ranked above Genty for Dynasty, right?
no, no, no,
No.
no, 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 no.
I mean, next year, sure, but
Yeah.
redraft is different. Um, what's interesting is Amarian Hampton is the RB5. So it's Bijan, Gibbs, Genty, Barkley, fine. And then it's Hampton at RB5. He's moved up basically from RB9 to RB5. I think we're, again, once he got that first round capital. And I get it because first round running backs hit, right? Like they hit at an incredible rate. So who are you taking, Amarian Hampton or Bucky Irving?
Oh, Amarian Hampton.
Hampton or, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just based upon the picture I seen him next to Jim Harbaugh a couple days ago. I'm like, oh my God,
Yeah.
that guy's a massive.
Brees Hall or Hampton?
Hampton.
Yeah. So then he's properly ranked. I mean, I'd probably take Hampton over Barkley too, depending on, if my team was like championship run next year, then I'd probably want Barkley. But if I'm just like, oh, I might make the playoffs, I might win, but I'm just gonna roll with Hampton unless I would. The only way I would take Barkley over Hampton is if I had basically one of my dynasty teams that I have, like a startup team that I did, and my team is just like it's ready to win. I already won 1 year. I have Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts. I have Achane, Derrick Henry, McCaffrey, Pollard, Tyreek Hill. Like I just have a bunch of vets ready to win next year. That's probably the only way I'd take Barkley over Hampton. So, okay, so then he's properly ranked. Travion Henderson comes in as RB10. So he's right behind guys like Brees Hall and Jonathan Taylor. Who are you taking, Brees Hall or Travion Henderson?
Travion, man.
I thought that was your answer.
Huh?
I thought you were saying Travion as your answer.
No, I'm just wow, to me that's a tough choice. I think. I gotta go with a new blood, man.
Interesting.
I
don't hate it.
Yeah, I think I gotta go new blood. Brees Hall, I mean, okay, you haven't wowed me yet, but Travion could be another version of Brees Hall. So I don't know.
In
the sense of like he doesn't all day, huh?
Yeah, in the sense of like he doesn't impress you his first few years or something.
Yeah.
I think it's fair. I think it's fair to say Travion over Brees. I mean, I basically value Brees at like the 105. I do think we have to have a big Brees year, right? Eventually, it feels that way. Like the guy's too good to not have like a massive RB3 Brees Hall year. This could be the year with this team's going to run the ball a lot. Just look at their makeup of their team. You have Garrett Wilson and who? Like Mason Taylor, a rookie second round pick at the tight end. Like I think he's a good player and stuff, but
Allen Lazard,
like just it's kind of like what I'm thinking about with the Bears. Like I think everyone thinks, oh, Ben Johnson came from the Lions. The Bears are going to run the ball a lot. Look at their personnel. You have Caleb Williams, DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Luther Burden, Colston Loveland, Cole Kmet, and you have DeAndre Swift as your running back. Like they're going to throw the ball 700 times. I think Ben Johnson's smart enough to like adapt his offense to the strengths of it. So, anyways, I think it's an interesting conversation. I still might lean Brees, but it's really right there. What about Jonathan Taylor or Travion?
Wow, I like Jonathan Taylor, but he's a big part of the Indy offense. Maybe I got to lean Taylor.
Yeah, I don't mind that. Taylor was good last year. It
didn't
was
seem
a little
that way, man. I had him on a team, and I know it turned out okay.
It was his finish.
Huh?
It was his finish. He put up 40 points, 28 points, and 25 points the last 3 weeks.
Man,
so
a lot of things get determined early. Like
no, you're right. You're out of the playoffs. You didn't make the playoffs if you had Jonathan Taylor on your redraft team. Most likely.
That's what I think. seemed like I was always kicking, scratching, clawing, and
Yeah,
then you look at then you go back and you always look at these guys' stats and you go, well, it didn't feel that way to me or something.
absolutely.
It's like shit.
No.
Come
Yeah,
on,
that's why
dude.
it doesn't matter what he did in the playoffs when your team doesn't make the playoffs,
Right.
because of him. But even then, he started off the year. This is PPR, by the way. 11, 15 and a half, 26 and a half, 20. That's really good. Gets hurt, misses 3 games, comes back, puts up 19, 9, 14, 7, 3, 17. He had a couple down games, missed 3 games. I agree. I think I'd still lean to. What do you expect from? Do you expect? I kind of have this feeling that Ramondre is going to be a little bit more involved than we like year one with Travion Henderson. That's my feel. I don't feel like Travion Henderson's just like a 3 down workhorse running back. He wasn't like that in college. You know. Do you kind of agree with that? Do you think like Ramondre is going to be
I don't think
a little bit more
Ramondre's
of
out
a?
of the picture. I think they're gonna use him. So, if you think Travion's gonna be a bell cow, probably
Mhm.
not. But I think he's gonna be relevant.
Yeah,
And
I
and you,
agree.
and you know what Travion Henderson does well, and this is what keeps a lot of rookies out of the backfield is pass protection.
Yeah,
Travion does that, and he's a big play guy too.
yeah,
And he's got a lot of experience, so he just didn't fall off the apple cart. So I
yeah.
hate
And
to
just
be
go look at what's that?
I hate to be promoting a Ohio State running back, but Michigan shut him down for a few years, so that's good.
Yeah. And go look at those 2010s Patriots offenses and look at all those running backs that were just catching 80 passes. There's James White is one that comes to mind.
Yeah,
Danny
that's with
Woodhead.
Brady, though. I mean,
No, I know. I mean, I really like Drake May. I think he's a
but
damn good quarterback.
but you got Jaden,
But their
or
offense,
you got what's his face, the offensive
Gibson.
coordinator back.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay,
McDaniels. That's why. That's
Josh
why I brought that up. Yeah.
Josh McDaniels. Yeah, yeah.
Um, Quinton Sean is right behind Travion at RB11. This one I'm a little bit more hesitant about,
Yeah, because of
because
Dylan Sampson.
I like Dylan Sampson, obviously, but I was a little bit lower on Quinton Sean. I like him. I think he's a very good player. I think he should be going in dynasty rookie drafts right around that 107 range, 106, 107 range. But give me Jonathan Taylor, give me Brees Hall, I'll take Kyron Williams. Kyron Williams is ranked behind Quinshawn. I think that's a little. No running back has been better over the last 2 years combined. Than Kyron Williams has been the best running back over the last 2 years. No running back has been better than him. Not McCaffrey, not Saquon. Over the last 2 years, it's been Kyron. So I know people are always going to have Kyron lower because he doesn't have the contract. He's a 5th round pick. This is why draft capital matters. This is why things like um, perceived value matters. And I talk about this a lot in Dynasty. It seems stupid to talk about because it's all about points and production. If it were all about points and production, Kyron Williams should be a top 5 running back in Dynasty rankings, but he's not. And it's because he was a 5th round pick. He did nothing his first year. We're worried about his size. He ran a 4.6. All these things come into play, keeping him down a little bit. And that's why I talk about other guys like Cam Scattaboo. What's his dynasty ranking going to be when he runs over a 2nd or 3rd string player in preseason and trucks a guy? People are and you're going to watch it on Instagram Reels or
Yeah,
Facebook or TikTok.
everybody's gonna go ape shit.
Everyone and what's everyone going to chant in the stadium? Boo! And you're going to hear everyone say boo whenever little things like that add to dynasty value. As stupid as it is, it does. And so I just, that's why Kyron's that low. I would take Kyron over Quinshon Judkins. I think the question comes in, where are you at with that? Quinshon Judkins or Kyron?
Um, Kyron.
Okay. You thought about it though, but yeah,
Yeah,
I think
I
it's
did.
enough to think about.
You know, I, I like the proven commodity, but I know Dynasty. You know, I'm probably not. I'm probably the worst person to ask.
No, I said I'd want Kyron over Judkins.
Yeah.
I think it gets interesting with guys like James Cook versus Quinshon Judkins. And I don't know, where are you at with that? Like James Cook obviously had a great year last year, but you got to remember, like, so he RB 11 in points per game last year. James Cook. Do you know off the top of your head how many touchdowns he had?
He had a lot. It was like 15.
18 total touchdowns.
Yeah. And see,
18. He went.
he's gonna screw himself because he starts talking smack now. I want $15 million a year and all this other shit. And then, it's gonna, I don't know. These guys
I,
keep their mouth shut, play the game, and
yeah, I don't. I would take Quinshon over James Cook just for that reason. Like again, he scored 18 touchdowns and he was the RB 11 in points per game. That's a little concerning. Like Raheem Mostert did it 2023, scored like 20 and was like the RB3. Like you would expect James Cook to be higher with 18 touchdowns, but the fact is they used them a lot less. Now I know Buffalo had like a ridiculous like combined 3 games of like benching their players because they were up big or something like that. It was something stupid like that. Like when you add up all the quarters that their guys missed because of it. But like they were using him less. Like he had 15 touches a game. That was down from 2023 where he was getting 17 touches a game. Not a huge drop, but a drop. He hasn't been quite the pass catcher that we expected. I think that's a thing with James Cook. When he came into the league, we were saying this guy's going to catch 60 passes. His best year is 44. He caught 32 last year. He's good in his yards per reception. I don't know if it's the offense, if it's him, whatever. They just don't use him in that way. But I don't know. I think I'd take Judkins over James Cook. How do you feel about that?
wow. Long term. Well, I might have a problem with that. It's just, I don't know. It's close.
I mean, Cook is coming up on his last year. He could be
Yeah.
gone from Buffalo. Doesn't he just feel like one of those guys where it's just like, all right, yeah, you had a good couple of years there, and then you just kind of
like his brother, kind of.
disappear into the yeah. I mean, Cook's just couldn't stay healthy in the beginning.
Yeah.
Dalvin Cook would have had 6 good years if he could have stayed healthy in his first couple of years, but which is basically what you look for running backs. I don't know. It feels a little bit.
I'm not sure there's going to be a repeat season for James Cook this year.
I mean, you have to bet the under on 15 touchdowns.
Yeah, I would.
Even like 12. If it was at like 12, I think I'd put the under. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. They are a good offense.
They didn't really do anything offensive, the backfield wise.
No, they have Ray Davis from last year. Like, I don't think they really need to. But like he was used. I mean, he had 113 carries. He had 130 touches. Like he was used enough. I think it's interesting there. I'd go Quinshon. A couple other running backs here before we move on. Who do you think's the next running back after Quinshon, the rookie? Any idea? Genty, Hampton, Henderson, Judkins.
Dylan Sampson?
Blue? No. You're missing a couple big guys. Caleb Johnson.
Yeah, okay.
And RJ Harvey are back to back.
I think Caleb Johnson's just a redo of Najee Harris in a way.
Well, that's a good point. So, like, do we expect him to be better than Najee? Like, I don't know.
No,
I really don't know.
So. I think he'll be on the same level as Najee.
And so you're looking at a good, not great player. I don't know what kind of passing work they're going to give him. Caleb Johnson was actually pretty good in terms of pass catching last year at Iowa. He only caught 22 passes. I think that was third most on Iowa's offense. Yeah, he had the third most catches and third most yards and third most receiving touchdowns.
I
So
would have
like
rather seen Scattaboo on the Steelers than.
Johnson's just a Steeler though. It feels like a Steeler,
Yeah,
right?
it does. Yeah, he's a big boy. He's a big boy. So runs 4.6, but they don't care. Just hit the hole, dude. You know.
Yeah, I mean Najee Harris's 40-yard time was in the 4.6s too.
It
So
looks it.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I am a little bit lower.
I wonder what Le'Veon Bell's 40 time was.
I'll look it up here. But who would you take then? RJ Harvey or Caleb Johnson? RJ Harvey on the Broncos or Johnson on the
Oh no,
Steelers?
Harvey.
Okay, pretty easily.
I'm taking Harvey, but I know what's his face, coach. He has a way of mixing up his running backs quite a bit.
Yeah, Peyton.
Sean Payton.
Yeah.
So he did it. Yeah, he did it last year, and he did it with New Orleans. So,
but man, everyone on the Broncos, running backs just wake up and catch 50 passes. It's crazy. Like, so 2023 for the Broncos. Where's it at? By the way, Le'Veon Bell was a 4.60.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Samaje Perine in 2023 caught 50 passes. Javonte Williams caught 47. Javonte Williams had 47. Jaleel McLaughlin had 31. So you're talking about 130 catches from their running backs in 2023. Last year, I know Javonte had over 50. Javonte had 52, second on the team. McLaughlin had 24. It's a little bit less, but you had Javonte at 50. So like Harvey's going to catch 50 passes. It's just going to be is he Kamara? That's what everyone's saying. Is he Alvin Kamara? Like in terms of the role, I'm not saying he's going to be as good as Kamara, but in terms of the role, is he Alvin Kamara? And I'll take the chance on that. I agree with you. I'm Harvey over Caleb Johnson. I think I am. I don't think originally I was, but I think I have him kind of in that same tier, and I think I would go Harvey. That being said, Harvey, he caught passes, but it wasn't like crazy. So, anyways, would you take Caleb Johnson or Derrick Henry?
Caleb Johnson.
Interesting. What if I told you you're getting?
Okay, I use the dynasty method or the dynasty thought process there.
What if I told you Derrick Henry is giving you a top 3 running back season next year, and then he's done?
Oh, geez.
And I tell you, Caleb Johnson's a complete wild card.
Yeah, well then I would do Derrick Henry, because then I would go and just say I'd worry about the running back situation next year.
Give me one RB5, RB3, RB1 season versus 5 RB24 seasons.
Oh, absolutely.
Basically what Najee's been his for 4 or 5 years or 4 years. And give me one. I don't care. Like you said, I'll figure it out in 2026, right? Because I'm winning a championship potentially with Derrick Henry. So that one's tough. He is, man. I know we're gonna say it this year. Can he do it again? Can he do it again? Probably.
Where, I mean, the guy. Yeah, that's because of Lamar.
Yeah, he had his best yards per attempt in his career by half a yard. He was 5.9 to his second best is 5.4. He was almost 6 yards a carry last year, and the guy had 325 carries. You don't see that. You don't see those type of, like, Jamal Charles is what comes to mind with like a high yards per carry, but he was doing that with like less than 250, I would guess, carries a game. He was more of a pass catcher. Like, that's crazy to have over 320 carries and you average 6 yards a carry. That's insane. It's insane.
Yeah.
Okay, what about Chuba Hubbard versus Caleb Johnson versus RJ Harvey? This is really hard.
Jeez. Chuba, I don't know, man. I'm not thinking of Chuba long term. I know they committed long term,
Yeah, why wouldn't you think of
contractually.
him long term?
Just thinking dynasty, couple of years. I'm thinking, you
Yeah, who are
know,
you worried about? Are you worried about Jonathan Brooks? I think that
no,
ship is like kind of sailed.
just falling apart.
So there's
It's,
really no one to worry about unless you're worried about Rico Dowdle or Trevor Etienne in the 4th round,
no, not
which I'm
really.
not.
I might have to lean towards Harvey, then Johnson, and then Chuba.
Yeah, Chuba's always going to have that stain of late, day 3 pick. Wasn't
Yeah,
really the guy, like they didn't want to commit to him, even though they saw him, that year that McCaffrey left. And then they brought in Miles Sanders for a bunch of money. Like, he's always going to have that stain on him a little bit. Whereas Caleb and RJ Harvey, they have a good September. They're shooting up the boards, right? I don't mind Chuba Hubbard. I really don't mind Chuba. Like, I think Chuba Hubbard's a really good player. And I told you the backstory of Chuba Hubbard before on this channel. Former 5-star recruit coming out of high school, had a massive sophomore year, a huge sophomore year. And then he had a terrible junior year, and that kind of like Ollie Gordon, and that pushed him down into the 4th round. And now look at him, like the guy is legit, man. Like, I think he's legit. He averaged almost 5 yards a carry. I think he's a good, not great pass catcher. I don't know. I don't mind Chuba over those. By the way, RJ Harvey is already 24 years old. That's why I think it was a little bit of surprise that he went round 2, because normally NFL teams don't take running backs that are that old until day 2 or day 3. So I think after that, I think I'm pretty comfortable with Caleb and RJ Harvey over Montgomery, Mixon, Kamara. Those guys are just,
yeah,
you know, going to be good this year, but you're kind of year to year with those guys at this point. You are with Henry too, but you expect the top 5 season from Henry. Last one I want to talk about, and then we'll kind of get out of here for the running backs, and we'll come back and talk about maybe some more running backs and wide receivers in the next time. But Cam Scatterbo, what do you expect? I expect him to take over that backfield by like week 4 or 5. I know you.
yeah. I don't see that.
Man,
I see 600 yards.
That's it.
This year, and 600 yards, 6 touchdowns, and yeah, that's what I see.
The Pistons just lose it.
Yeah, I think so.
It says there's 4 seconds left, so.
Yeah, I know, but guy, fucking Jalen Brunson.
I say Scatterbo takes over that job. I don't think Tyrone Tracy is someone to worry about too much about holding him off the field.
Well, something has to happen. Okay, so for Tracy, I don't see it a one-man show. Sorry, I'm trying to listen to the TV at the same time. I don't see Tracy falling apart, but I do see in Scatterbo part of the backfield. So that's why I say 600 yards. So I say like 900 yards for Tracy. 2-man show and stuff like that. Now, what happens after that long term, I don't know. So freaking Pistons lost, but anyway.
I think Scatterbo just keeps Tracy off the field. Basically, I just think he's a day ball type of player. He feels like a day ball player. Um, Tyrone Tracy has fumbling issues, and that's to be expected. Um, that's to be expected from a guy who's a converted wide receiver. He fumbled the ball 5 times last year on less than 200 carries.
So is Tracy like a Tony Pollard then?
Yeah, I mean Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard, I think, had a little bit more running back experience in college, if I remember correctly. I'll double check that, but yeah, I guess he only had about 1 year, really. So not really. But Pollard wasn't what was Pollard really his first couple of years in the NFL? Like he was that change of pace guy, right? Like he
Yeah,
wasn't, it
behind
wasn't until
behind Zeke.
yeah. So I just think that's going to be a little bit more of Tracy's role.
Well, I think
And
that's going to be Scadaboo's role.
Yeah, I see Scadaboo taking the early down work. Yeah, I think he's a good pass catcher too, Scadaboo. I think he's a sneaky, really good this year, Scadaboo. I do. I think he just does everything right that the running backs want to do. I think he's really good. He breaks tackles. He catches the ball. He's a willing pass blocker. He needs to get better at it, but he's willing. He has the size for it. So I see it. I see it coming. See it coming. But we'll probably finish up there, and I think we'll be live again. Maybe Sunday evening we're going to go live again. So appreciate the people that were in listening, and be on the lookout. I'm going to put out a veteran winners from the draft. Who won based on what happened in the draft? That's coming out tomorrow. Some guys like Jerry Jeudy, Calvin Ridley are big winners in my opinion. And yeah, we will see you all. Any last words? Sorry about your Pistons. Hopefully Tigers win.
Pistons lost.
Tigers are losing.
Yeah, Tigers. It's 2-2, I think. 3-2. Yeah. The hell. World's falling
Bad day
apart.
for Detroit.
First world problems.
Texans draft grade a J.
What's that?
No, I'm just reading what.
That's J.
I don't know if I get the reference or not.
Joyous or
I don't know.
I don't think the Texans drafted that bad. Texans, man, the whole offseason they redid their offensive line. They traded guys, and
I don't think they redid the offensive line too much, though. Is the problem?
Well, they
got rid of guys.
They got rid of guys. I thought they brought some guys in too.
I'm not. That was the big problem. I think they only really brought in one guy, if I remember. And who was it? I think it was Cam Robinson, who has not. Great. I mean, he's projected as their left tackle.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been healthy basically 3 of the last 4 years. Good luck with that.
You got rid of Tunsil.
Oh, okay, I get it. Jalen. Yeah, they had a lot of J's. So they drafted Jaden Higgins, Jalen Noel, Jalen Smith, Woody Marks, whose full name is Joquavius Marks, Jalen Reed. Wow, they did go a lot of J's.
You say, "Hey, Jay," and they go, "What?"
Yeah. So they drafted a guy out of Minnesota.
Offensive tackle?
I think
that guy's massive. He's like 380 or something.
Yeah, I think he's projected as one of their tackles. So
yeah.
I
think that's the guy who's like excessively big, like Mekhi Becton. Like huge.
Yeah, don't forget about Joquavius Marks. Woody Marks that's his real name. So
Woody Marks, yeah.
But yeah, we'll be back we're gonna have some real live rookie drafts coming up here, probably next week or weekend. So join us for those. Those are going to be pretty fun. Hopefully we'll have another startup here live, so that should be a lot of fun too. Join us. I know it's a little bit slower time of the year, but it's going to be a lot of good conversation and strategy, and just guys that you should go after and things like that. So he was Big Ten first team tackle same year as Michigan's Henderson, who is also on the team as a guard.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
I
do
know
have
who
him as a
he
guard.
is. He's big, massive guy. So
yeah, we'll be interested to see. I mean, they brought in weapons for CJ Stroud. I wish they would have maybe invested a little bit more in the offensive line, because that's really what killed Stroud last year. But we will see indeed. But yeah, appreciate everyone, and join us Sunday evening, and we will see you all then.